How you doing, sports fans? It's your main man, Earl the Grant. Special episode of Real Talk with the Sports Heads. We have our first interview with Derrick Martin. I don't know how many of you people are familiar with him, but the goal today is to get to know him a little bit better. I want to welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
We can start in this story many ways, but maybe can you tell people what you're doing right now for the folks who may not be real familiar with you?
Yeah, man, I just introduced the world to Two Rings Ranch. It's a 40-acre ranch out in Bennett that I'm expanding to the youth. Youth is YUFF, Young Urban Farmers. Bring the kids in from the inner city, show them a little bit about the rural community, as well as the sports as well. Just trying to stay in there with the community. We'll be doing the sports fest this year, the 7th annual, come June 7th and 8th. So that should be a great event to look forward to. And other than that, just gearing up for the next season.
Okay, if you could, can you let the people know out here what is it you do professionally? What's your profession in life? How do you, provide for yourself and your family? For those who don't know you.
Oh man, I'm going to my 9th year in the NFL, man. I'm going in there with the Chicago Bears this year, and should be a good year. We got a good team coming back, and we should bounce back well.
You're 9 years deep into the league. Congratulations on that. You're definitely have veteran status or whatnot. So if we want to step back in the time machine, so to speak, and let's try to see how this thing all got started. When was the first time you felt like that football would be something that you could possibly change your life with? And when is the moment that you really decided to dedicate yourself to that 100%?
Oh man, I love the game for a long time, really. I've been playing now for about 22 years. So to really go back to where it first started, it's probably the Falcons, man, Park Hill Falcons out in Denver, Colorado. Early day, just start running laps with the kids, man, and my mom ended up coming back to the park and like, what's going on? Coach was like, man, he want to play football, and then it took off from there. I probably decided when I really wanted to do this and make it real. When I left college, man, I left college early, and I said, man, either somebody's gonna take me, or I'm gonna have to come back to school. So I ended up getting drafted by the Baltimore Ravens, and I've been playing ever since.
Right now, as far as the NFL, a lot of the the general hype and hoopla is about the scouting combine and teams who are they going to pick players trying to position themselves. You left as a junior, as an underclassman. That's Andrew Luck. They told him he was going to be the number one pick if he left as a junior. He still came back to be a senior. So what drove you to say, hey, I don't need another year of college. I'm prepared. I'm prepared for this process, and not just making tackles and making plays, but the responsibility that you have of being an employee and being a professional, and kind of realizing that, hey, you really only get one shot to get your foot in the door. What lets you know that you were prepared for that, especially coming from a smaller school and a smaller conference like Wyoming? It's not like you were at some of the pro factories where say at LSU. In LSU generally a starter, 1 or 2 year starter in their system is generally going to be a first or second round, maybe third round pick. He's got it pretty good as far as what he doesn't have to prove at the combine. His numbers, his 40-yard dash time. A guy coming from a small school, what did you feel like you had to prove to go into the combine?
Well, man, they say all the work's on tape. So, man, I try to submit some good film, out throughout those 2 years, 3 years I played, and I put some good film together. At the combine, man, it's all about running fast, They say you gotta do all these other drills and things of that sort, man, but it's about running fast. And you go to the combine, run fast, you'll get drafted. I thought I should leave early, man. I was tops in the conference, man. I was playing against some of the best competition, playing against some of the best receivers in our league, in our conference, and doing pretty well. So that's when I knew it was time for me to head on out. Not sure if I was really ready for the NFL. You know, you can't really gauge that until you get there. But when I got there, man, I knew I was in the right place.
So, what was your 40-yard dash time? Because that's really what, I mean, the general public, that's really the first thing they think of when they think, what'd you clock down?
I came in at 4.42 at the combine in Indy, and then at my pro day I ran a 4.29. Those was all hand times though, you know. So it was great, man. You run fast, you get drafted. You know, that's how it works. You know, especially in the secondary, and coming out of small school, you run fast, you get drafted. You got good film. That's why you put you at the combine.
So you kind of kicked the door in. I mean, the 4.29. I don't know what you people know about sports, but you know, hand clock, electronic clock, you're probably fast when when it's all said and done. You're 9 years into the game now. You kicked in the door with your speed. So every year you got young guys coming into the league. You know, they may have benched more than what you did at the combine, or they may have outperformed you in another drill. So you got younger guys coming in every year. What is it that allows you to keep your job and keep a foot up on these young guys? You know, who they're fresh and they're excited and they're out of college and they're gonna make a name for themselves. But what is it that kind of allows you to keep your edge? I don't want you to give away all your secrets, but
yeah, man, it's just preparation, man. Preparation is key. You know, the way you prepare your body for that next season, it's a long haul. So you gotta make sure your body's ready for it, your mind's ready for it, and you gotta come in out there and perform. People go out there, and can do a lot of practice, but it's about performing on the field when it's game time, and that's where most people lose their step, lose their grasp, is not really getting the job done. You know what I'm saying? So man, I've been able to stick around, playing these special teams, which is a very integral part of the game, and that's been keeping me around, being able to get to the ball and making plays in that aspect.
For people who've played the game of football, if you've ever played special teams on any level, special teams is where guys have the biggest opportunity to really pick up speed and gain momentum. It's physical. It's physical. It's I don't know if people know the type of things that are involved, but for those who do or they don't, it's not something that's easy on your body either. You know what I mean? And when people tune in and watch the NFL, they see these giants, the Megatrons, 6'4", 6'5" wide receivers. How tall are you?
I'm about 5'11", 6 foot, depending on
what
kind of shoes I got on.
So you're 6 feet. You got to compete out there. You got to compete out there.
Yeah.
Do you think that just your natural competitive nature? Do you think that helps you out? Day in and day out. Mini camp, because there's so many guys that come in there and they have a chance to make the team, but at the end of the day, everybody can't make the team. Is anything about you, wanting to be at your best that you think also, helps you stay successful?
Well, yeah, man, I'm a great competitor, and that shows, when I get to training camp and things of that sort, and that's why I've been able to stick around so long, because I compete so well when it's game time. Like you said, the young guys come in every year, man. Every year a new batch comes in, and it's only 53 spots on the roster. So you got to go out there and battle, compete every day, compete to play, compete to stay, as Mel Tucker would say. So you got to come out there, man, and be ready. Because if you ain't, man, they'll get rid of you and they'll find somebody else who can do the job.
So if we take this back to your college days, when you played college ball out there at Wyoming and Laramie.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up at? As childhood, teenage. Where'd you grow up at?
I'm a product of Denver, Colorado. I was born in St. Louis, moved to Denver, grew up in the Park Hill area, and went to Thomas Jefferson, one of the greatest schools in town.
What was when you moved from out here in Denver? And you're 17, 18 years old. You're going out to a place that had you ever lived out there in Wyoming or anything? Like, do you have any family out there that you would go visit or anything like that?
Nah, man, it was actually like a culture shock of some sort, um, but it was a great experience for me, and I was able to learn a lot of things that propelled me, into adulthood, as well as professional career paths as well, and that's how I ended up getting the ranch out in Bennett. Um, the summers I would stay up in Laramie working out there on the ranch and doing things of that sort. It broadened my horizons on things that we needed to do to get back to the earth, and that's how I got the ranch out there, and now I'm trying to turn that into something big.
One thing that I feel as a an observer of football, things they complete on and off the field, and guys want to go into the NFL and they want to be the greatest player or just remember. My thing is, when I first met you and got to know you, one thing that I was impressed of was the things that you picked up on as far as business and um, establishing yourself a future, planning for a future financially is something that I could tell that you pick some brains about. Once you allowed yourself, to become a professional football player. What would be your advice to these guys? Because when the draft comes here in April, we're gonna have guys who go from lint in their pockets, rocks in their socks, to hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And I don't, as far as advice for them on the field, that's probably best kept for somebody else. But if you could let them know anything as far as how they should think about their finances, to where something may happen to where 3 years later they may not be playing anymore.
Yeah.
Is what are your finances going to look like in those 3 years? What type of advice would you give those young men?
I tell them to save their money, man. And everybody's saying that, but it's real. You want to save that money, at least until you have your lump sum, you have your plan set up, and you've been able to sit down, with a financial advisor or something of that sort to figure out what you need to do to survive. Because man, it comes fast, it goes fast, So I would encourage them to save their money and try to get a financial advisor or something of that sort that can help them. Because man, you coming out young, 18, and then you win the lottery, So it's a big step to take. 22, 21, whatever you are when you come out, and then it's a big step to take, and just being able to spend that much money is crazy.
Now, if we jump back to, okay, so you're finishing up your third year there in Wyoming, and what's the process of saying my time is now? What did you have to do to make that happen? Because it's one thing to think about it,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, you got to put some type of action in place. What did you do?
Man, so it's a process you got to take. You got to submit to the NFL. And they will reply with a grade and things of that sort, and you'll tell them you'll sign like your letter, almost like a letter of intent.
Okay.
For coming out of high school, but and then once you take that step, man, you can get an agent, and then you go from there. But leaving school is one of those steps that only you can really decide if that's what you want to do, because only you gonna have to live with the decision, and it's just one of those decisions, that thrusts you into adulthood.
Now, so all of a sudden, you go from a college kid. I don't know if people are familiar with the rules surrounding college athletics or whatnot. You're not really allowed to work a full-time job while you're a student athlete, or at least that's what the rules say. So you go from a college kid who doesn't have very much money. You know what I mean? Most student athletes come from more humble upbringings. So how do you go from a guy who's some days you may have to think about how am I gonna eat. Sometimes maybe in some student situations to I got hundreds of thousands of dollars at my disposal that I can spend on anything. where did you get the leg up in the process to realize that, when I do get this type of money, life changing money, I'm not gonna go splurge it and spend my money on exuberant material things like a lot of athletes do when they get that money. Were you ahead of the curve when it came to that, or was there something you had to go through to learn that?
Shoot, I guess I was ahead of the curve. I'm not really certain. I just was never really into that type of thing, I guess. I don't know. But I always made sure I had food, you know what I'm saying? And I always take care of the body, making sure I'm getting some good food. But I had my wife and I had kids, when the money was coming in, and diapers are expensive, formula's expensive. So I had to think of things realistically. In the first couple years, you're not making millions of dollars. You're making whatever they tell you you're making.
What round did you get drafted in?
I got drafted in the 6th round.
And they projected you as a
late 2nd, 3rd round draft pick. So I mean, depending on how the draft goes, man, you can fluctuate anywhere. Cause this year they might have 30 defensive backs. My draft pick, they had, my draft round, they had 16 corners. So depending on what the draft looks like and how it shakes out, what teams need, depends on where you fall in the draft.
So is it, just to kind of help people out there, so you're not the guy who ESPN has the camera on in the green room with the expensive suit in there in New York. He's a lot more comfortable on draft day, than you. But not only that, if you expect to go in the 2nd and 3rd round and you go in the 6th round, what's the difference financially in that? And I'm just trying to help the people understand the type of pressure that you're going through in the draft process, because it's not a wonder. People who work in corporate America, you take them, you give them your resume, you may email your resume, they'll give you may have to take some competency test online, and then you'll get a call from HR, okay? And then they'll bring you in for an interview. You get one interview, and then they may call you back for a second interview. So we can say that's maybe 2 interviews that you have to go through, to get a job in corporate America.
Yeah.
Versus how many interviews did you go through in the NFL draft process?
You get a lot of them, man. You got one at the combine, then you have individual visits, you have pro day visits, and it's all the same questions. And if you prepare for it, it's not a big deal, and they try to make it a big deal. If you prepare for it and everything ship shape, you'll be all right.
So when you got the phone call that you did get selected, and I mean, I know that I don't know, but I assume every second that you're waiting is a different type of feeling than what you might what you ever experienced before, because it's something new and it's kind of unknown. What happened when you got the phone call? Who called you? Who made you the contact and called you and let you know they're gonna call your name?
Well, I got that call from Ozzie Newsome. He's the GM in Baltimore. They gave me that call and asked me if I was ready to be a Raven, man. And it was great. It was a great call. We had Brian Billick out there. I was able to talk to him as well. And then they always say don't count your chickens till they hatch. You got to wait till your name's actually called on the draft board.
I didn't know that.
I've heard of crazy stories of people saying they're going to get picked here, and then they end up getting picked 3 rounds later. And so you just got to make sure everything's going good. It's a great experience though, man. Like you said, you go from sitting on that couch to jumping on that couch in seconds. So it's a great experience.
So let's talk about your family life real quick. Just how many basics. How many kids do you have, and how does it feel to know that you're in a position to not only financially take care of your kids, but to be there for your kids and to be a positive influence and a role model for your kids, because in our generation a lot of us came up in split parent households. You know what I mean? A lot of us didn't have both of our parents at the same time. So some of us we don't know our mom or we don't know our dad. You know what I mean? So a lot of guys, a lot of players, they get this money, they get the fame, they get the attention, and they seem to drift towards other things. What keeps you grounded to be there for your family?
Man, it's a real world, man. It's a real life. You can't, I came up in a single parent household, so me personally, I'm trying to be the father that I wanted to have, and me and my partners, are all in the same boat. We're looking out for our kids and things of that sort, and trying to make sure they have things that we didn't have, be able to go places that we didn't get to go. So it's not just me, but it's everybody I grew up with, really, you know what I'm saying, that's trying to give back and do right for their kids.
If you just want to, let the people know different, some stuff to look out for as far as the things that you're doing, outside of football, the things that you're doing for the community.
Yeah, definitely. I thought you would never ask, man. Hey, so we got Two Rings Ranch.
Okay, now see, I got a text from D, and he's like, I'm gonna be at Two Rings Ranch, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what am I supposed to do with that? I don't know what Two Rings Ranch is. I don't know where it is. What's going on out there? What are you doing out there?
So, man, Two Rings Ranch is a sports and agricultural ranch, which is a venue for the camps and things that I already do. And what I'm looking to do is get a field out there, start having the Little League Super Bowl games and things of that sort, as well as showing kids how to live from the earth by growing their own food, being able to build their own homes, earth homes, 90% dirt, 10% concrete. Tower gardens, being able to grow these right in their backyards, raising chickens right in their backyards, and things of that sort. We have we have grow tubs, which are waist high hot tubs, raised high gardens made out of hot tubs. And the reason we made them out of hot tubs is because people were throwing the hot tubs into the dumps, leaking cobalt into the water table for years. Fiberglass never dissipates, So we figured out a concept of what we can do with them, and so we'll have these grow tubs out in the Denver metro area, man, this spring. That's gonna be a big launch for us, and we're gonna do that now. So be on the lookout for the grow tubs. That'll be through the youth group, the Young Urban Farmers Foundation.
Do you have a contact number?
Yeah, you can go to youth.org, yuff.org, or tworingsranch.com. That's TWO ringsranch.com. All the information's on there. The foundation, the Derrick Martin Foundation, will be having its 7th annual Sports Fest this year, June 7th and 8th. We're looking for something to do that Friday night.
What's the Sports Fest going to include? What's that going to entail?
The Sports Fest includes the sports camp, kids camp, football and cheer, grades K through 8 at Thomas Jefferson High School. That has started about 8 o'clock in the morning. And then we'll go from 8 to about 2 o'clock with that, teaching the kids all the fundamentals of the football as well as cheer. Let them get out there, free camp. We'll have food and drinks. You get a free T-shirt, things of that sort. That evening, that afternoon, we'll be at the ranch. We're gonna have a real pig roast right in the ground. They're gonna dig the hole, do the whole banana leaf thing they do, man. We're gonna have that, Polynesian dancers, fireworks, hula dancers. It should be a great time. We're gonna cap the weekend off with a 8 o'clock tee off. It's gonna be a great time. Golf tournament, man. Get out there, swing the clubs for the charity, raise some funds that way. That should be great. We're gonna have that at Arrowhead out there out there near the mountains. Very picturesque golf course, man. Encourage you to come out there with your radio heads. I'll be out there, man. I'm good, man. I'm gonna be out there. I'll be ready. Me, Phil, and Tiger, we're getting our games ready now. The Masters is coming up, so we're gearing up. So by the time June comes, I'll be in pitch perfect shape.
Okay, well that means I'm gonna have to get my golf clubs out of my brother's trunk. They're still in my brother's trunk. I'm gonna get them out my brother's trunk, man. I'm gonna have to come out there and see what type of score I can post. If there's one or maybe two people, because it sounds like it's been I mean, it's been quite the grind for you. You know, well over a 10-year grind for you. Who's been that one person, you know, that's kind of helped you, you know, hold it all together? And
Man. I've been out there, man. Cut the camera.